Okay, let's just, am I on? Let's just close our eyes. Everybody hear me? And take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. Exhale again. And another deep breath. Exhale. And smile. We breathe and smile. We activate neural plexuses in the frontal lobe and back lobe of our brain. Oh, good. We can hear me now. Can everybody hear me? So breathe. We're breathing and smiling. And hey, Elvie. All your faces here, people I recognize and people I don't, and some from last year. So here we are. Let's just go into a meditative state and let's recognize breathing and smiling is the simplest thing that we can do. Simplest thing. And it is what we were taught in the ancient Aramaic scriptures would activate the frontal lobe of our brain that operates in love and the back lobe of our brain that operates in releasing and letting go anything not of love. So let's breathe again deeply. And smile. And let's just allow ourselves to enter into the inner realms of our consciousness and notice anything that's bouncing around in there. The grocery list, what we have to do tomorrow, putting gas in the car, all those things that kind of hammering for our attention. And let's just notice all those things and say, I'm going to take a deep breath. And you all can just go away now. And I'm going to smile and center in love. And let us take note that we are also letting go of all of the DNA programming, all of the ancient coding that we picked up when we jumped into this body of blame, fear, judgment, control, and allow those things to just dissipate as we take another deep breath and smile and know that there really is no out there. It's coming into creation from the resonance inside of us. And we're learning how to set up a new resonance in the collective of humanity. So let us just sit for a moment, quietly breathe and smile, and notice what our own inner peace feels like. If anything wants to pop up that is worry or fret, just let it go. Breathe and smile, activating those neural plexuses that allow us to enter into peace. It's that simple. Einstein says you can teach a 6-year-old to do it. This is what living in a quantum world is all about. And as we breathe and smile, let's quietly come back to this room and let's visit with each other about how we can change ourselves to change the world. The Imagine song is so great. I love it. It's interesting. It's kind of become the anthem of those creating change on the planet. Yeah. So there's a science to how we change ourselves to change the world. And you guys, how many of you have been to my workshops here before? A few. And I know that you guys have had changes here. I know that we're all dealing with. I love your AV system. It's always so fun to come here. It works so well. So because we are living in a time that was predicted by many ancient people, many ancient cultures. We've entered a time that the Mayans called the shift of the ages. And this is an ending of an age and a new beginning. I'm sure that many of you are familiar with that idea, but let's look at what that means. So there's a science behind the shift of the ages. We've moved into amplified fields of light. Our whole galaxy has moved to a place in space that it only gets to once every 26,000 years. That amplified light to planet Earth, and it's activating our glandular system, our pineal gland, our pituitary gland, to produce a chemical called DMT, which is a happy chemical. It's similar to serotonin, melatonin, and it gives us this sense of oneness with all things. So even those of us who are not going to the jungle to take ayahuasca, which is why people are doing this, is to activate more of this DMT. We are all being activated anyway. It doesn't matter. We don't have to do the big, activation. We are just getting activated in our everyday lives here on planet Earth. So the ancient Aramaic, I know you guys have Bill Constantine here, right? And he's always teaching this stuff about, clearing ourselves to love. And the ancient Aramaic, one of the earliest languages of light on the planet, teaches us to clear our old data, because our old data is resonating in this quantum field. Aramaic is literally a language of quantum physics. So all of us, as we jumped into these bodies, we agreed to take on a certain DNA coding that existed in our generations. And we said, I'm willing to jump in there and clear that DNA to love. I'm willing to jump in and the old ancient thought forms. What we're here to do today and right now. And as we breathe and smile, and when our worry comes up and our fret comes up, is literally old data that was given to us by our ancestors. Oh, well, let's worry about this. Oh, let's be angry about that. Oh, let's say so-and-so is to blame. It's their fault. But the truth is that quantum physics teaches us, and the ancient Aramaic taught us, is there is no out there. This is such a big thing for us to get, because for thousands of years, we've been blaming the bad guys, right? We've been blaming the terrorists and, the people who run that government and the people who have the other religion. We've been blaming all of them for thousands of years. But there is nobody to blame. What that is, we are like a biocomputer, and that is the old data that we carry inside of us of these constructs. Thoth of the ancient Egyptians says, there is no such thing as fear. Fear is a construct of the mind living outside of love, the mind and heart. So the bad guys, the terrorists, the tyranny, 1%, it's all a figment of it's a fantasy made up, it's a story made up by our minds and hearts living outside of love. So this returning to love, breathing and smiling, offloading anything that shows up, saying, I now cancel, clear, release, let go. Anything that shows up in my mind and heart outside of love, and I can center in love. This is really a big practice. It doesn't just happen by accident, and we need to remember it on a daily basis. The biggest thing that I do these days is I see somebody showing up who's cranky, or maybe they have road rage, and I say, oh, look what my frequency pattern drew into my world today. Not, oh, that person must be mad and upset and having a bad day. Look what is coming up for me to cancel, release, and let go. And as we live in crisis, governments, politics, banking, economics, planetary systems, our hometowns, our political system in the United States, right? I mean, what's going on with this election? Really? You're kidding me. It's a mirroring of the collective chaos that is rising to the surface. As more light is coming in, this is being stirred up for us to look at it and say, wow, do I want to participate in this anymore? Or do I want to be one who is holding the frequency of change in this world? Each one of us is literally a stargate. Each one of us is literally a grid point on the planet. Each one of us is like a resonant antenna sending a frequency out into the collective. And so as each one of us, as little groups, yesterday we taught plasma energy at the Coptic Center. And wow, you should have felt the energy in that room, in that place. The science of plasma energy is now coming forth as the next phase we're going to move into as our science on the planet. But as we understand this space between the field of the soul and the 3D world, which plasma energy is teaching us about from a technical standpoint, we can enter into this plasma field, which is continually creation, that's continually flowing. And we can literally be a resonant frequency in that is changing it, that's upscaling it, that's raising it up into love. And literally, we're going to help change the whole by doing that. So we can do that right here at home. We don't have to go anywhere. So many ancient cosmologies predicted these times. The Earth's magnetics are at the lowest point in 4,000 years. This is science. Guess who showed up at the lowest points in magnetics in Earth's history? Jesus, Buddha, Kuan Yin, Maitreya, whoever you can think of that came as a great teacher to us. They all came at the time of lowest magnetics. Guess why? Because our minds are open to new ideas. We're part of this planetary field. So the possibility, this is Deepak Chopra, the possibility of stepping into a higher plane is quite real for everyone. It requires no force or effort or sacrifice. It involves little more than changing our ideas about what is normal. Learning some new ideas. We're changing our idea about, I call the old system the old matrix. It's like an old computer program. And it told us to run a certain way. It told us to, be angry when somebody else got angry at us. It told us that we had to do what we were told instead of listening to our heart. Somebody else is bad or evil on the planet, instead of going inside and saying, maybe they're not bad or evil, maybe this is my old data. So we have an old matrix system. The movie The Matrix has a new movie coming out. It's called The Glitch in the Matrix. And we're in a glitch in the matrix right now. We are in a space where quantum physics and ancient texts like never before, because the ancient texts were talking about this time. They were talking about quantum physics. They were talking about lowered magnetics. They were talking about a time when we would be in chaos, but we would also be in accelerated change. And so that accelerated change, by us listening to our minds and hearts, by us breathing and smiling and becoming poles of love in this world, are changing that chaos into where we're moving into in the future. So this is a really cool young guy. He's Native American. He's actually the grandson of friends of mine who started a community called Hummingbird in New Mexico. Mark Hubbard is very connected with. And I can't really pronounce his name very well, something like Martinez. And he says that he is an activist. He's gone and spoken to the United Nations. He's leading a bunch of young people in becoming aware of what's going on right now. The biggest challenge we face is shifting human consciousness, not saving the planet. The planet does not need saving. We do, What are we doing? How are we behaving? Are we behaving in love or outside of love? Are we acting in a way that is creating constructive change, or are we continuing to destroy? So moving away from a primary motive of profit and towards honoring all life in our planetary home is a good thing for us to be aware of. So right now, corporations kind of run the world, right? They run our systems, our economies. And what is the purpose of corporations? What's their way? To profit for their constituents. What if we just repurposed every corporation right now? What if we passed a ruling and said, every corporation itself from profit to serving humanity, the well-being of humanity and the planet? Wow. Change. big change. You know, and we're all kind of subject to this. You know, we're subject to having to make more money to pay our taxes, to pay for wars, to go kill more people, right? And so we're living in a system that is, it has been established in blame, fear, judgment, hostility, control, outside. If we were a civilization operating only in love, and we said, there is no fear, I breathe and smile at everything, no one else is bad, no one else is wrong, our civilization be right now? Dr. Michael Rice, who teaches the ancient Aramaic forgiveness process, says if we'd gotten this 2,000 years ago, we'd be living in a different civilization. So this is up to us to kind of get right now. We are quantum creators. So love is life itself. So when we breathe, smile, and center in love, and let go of anything rattling around in us, we can identify. Harvard studies say 97% of our thought forms are unconscious. So that's that old unconscious data from our generations. So we want to open up that garbage can and throw that out. Breathe and smile and center in love. The matrix can only mirror that which we give it. That's Greg Braden. So this matrix world that we live in, this hologram, how do we even understand that? You know, it's a really big leap for our minds, our consciousness, our hearts to get. We're living in a giant hologram that is made up of thought, of action, of intent, and energy fields that respond to that. So the matrix can only mirror back to us that which we are giving it. The universe doesn't speak English or French or Spanish. It only speaks frequency. So frequency is truth. You know, if I'm angry at my partner in life, say, the field is going to know that, even if I say I'm okay with it, you know. So we need to really get inside ourselves, empty out that old data, breathe and smile and center in love. If that's all we do, it's that simple. That's how we change ourselves to change the world. It's that simple. We'll look at a few other things that surround that. But if you go away today with one thing, breathe and smile. Let's everybody breathe and smile right now. Breathe and smile and center in love. By doing this, we change the world. Our awakening process is living in love, moving beyond blame, fear, judgment, hostility, and control. Those are all part of that old garbage can that Harvard studies say is 95%. And it's, you know, our unconscious rises up when we go, oh, that's a terrible leader over in that other part of the world. Oh, that person has road rage. They must be grumpy today. That's our unconscious container rising to the surface. Somebody just showed up who's mirroring that to us. We are sending out a frequency that is going to call in a like frequency. Do we have something terrible going on in our life? Something we don't like? Well, where do we look? We look in our own old unconscious container and we say, wow, look what my frequency drew in today. I guess I need to cancel and clear that. And you will find as you do this, we've been doing this the last few years, consistently, regularly. Teddy, who's here with me, who's contributor to the book, 21st Century Superhuman Quantum Lifestyle, which I sat with a scarf around my head writing for 8 months. I could hardly talk, and Teddy would come out and knock on the window and bring me food and say, well, how are you today? And I'd say, I'm not the same person I was yesterday. And we have our books with us here today because it's the whole story of how this works. So anything, oops, sorry, kind of went ahead a little fast there. Anything unresolved within our energy field will keep manifesting itself in our physical, mental, emotional, spiritual life until we heal it. There is no escaping this. And offload our own data to enter into love. Thoughts, behaviors, and emotions send out tangible waves into the field and return to us in the shape of our reality. It used to be not so instantly, but because we've moved into these accelerated fields of light, everything is speeding up. Have you ever noticed if you get angry, you end up dropping something on the floor and breaking it, or you get an instant response out of the field, much faster than it used to be. So we're in a field that is responding to us much more quickly. So meditation, focusing, aligning our energies, all these good things help us to be more clear in this energetic field that is responding more quickly than it used to. This is just a nice little diagram for you left brainers. Energy goes out, it creates structure, which comes out into the world as information. Different way to look at it. So as we move into the heart, as we move into heart coherence, and the Heart Math Institute out in California teaches about this, we move into love, compassion, and gratitude. We have synchronicities, precognizance, and accomplishing our dreams. And we get this big torus field around our heart. Love is the bridge between you and everything. If you truly loved yourself, you could never hurt another. So this comes into self-love. Love is the glue that connects us all in unimaginable ways to do extraordinary things. So breathing, smiling, and calling in more church community who want to join you in this community. What a wonderful place. I'd love to see this place packed to the brim. I know there's a lot of awake people out here in this community ready to join you. So it's by centering in love, holding this resonance. Feel happy every day. Do you get up in the morning and go, I'm happy? Yeah, I see a couple of hands. I see a few hands. I want to sing. I want to dance. I want to respond to my heart. This is our truly natural state. By a system of belief that said out there. So as we breathe, smile, and come back into love, I used to wake up in the morning as I first started learning this, and I'd go, oh, I'm worried about today. What's going to happen? And then I'd go, okay, breathe, smile, center, and love. Oh, okay, I can be joyful. I can be at peace. This is a big change for us because we culturally have been taught differently than that. I love this Hafiz statement, who was the teacher of Rumi. Sit there right now. Don't do a thing. Just rest. For your separation from God and from love is the hardest work you will ever do in this world. Our separation is the hardest work we'll ever do in this world. We make it easy when we start teaching ourselves, and this is teaching ourselves to breathe, smile, and center in love. I think I have. When you realize how perfect everything is, you will tilt your head back and laugh at the sky. It changes for us, you know, how we look at this world. By living your life in peace, by opening your heart to love, by listening to the whispers of your soul, you impact everything you touch. So as we breathe and smile, let's listen to our own hearts and what brings us joy. This afternoon, I'm going to teach a workshop called Change Yourself to Change the World. It'll be fast and a bunch of really good information, 2 hours really quick right after we have the snack at 11, until we're done at 11:45. I'd like to invite as many of you as possible who can stay to join us. This is going to give us a vision into what's going on in the world that we can connect with. And there's so many amazing things going on right now that have to do with global humanitarian funding, that JFK was one of the people who was attempting to bring this through, that I'm working with right now. Plasma energy. But I'd like to give you guys some insights into all these things. Again, it's a lot of really powerful information. Let's look for a simpler life. Laugh more, feel blessed, love more, find a quiet spot every day and breathe. 21st Century Superhuman is in the shift of the ages. Cosmic influences, photons of light. Thoughts create our reality. As we change our resonance, we change our frequency. As we live a better lifestyle, we raise our frequency. We change the world. Our path to the viable future is living from the heart. We are creatures of the Creator of the abundant flow. knowing that we are part of this flow of creation. Whoops. This is us entering into this field of love and light that we're capable of living in. May there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Breathe and smile. Namaste. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you. That was very inspiring, and I hope that many of you, excuse me, are planning to stay for the workshop. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, and all is well. And I think if you'll give us a minute to form a circle, we can do that. And
Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God as our leader, united all our needs. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let this be a moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous now. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let it begin with me. Yeah, you're so welcome. What's your name?